I simplify branding down to 3 steps that music artists can follow and use immediately. And if you're struggling to turn your listeners into fans, then chances are you need to work on your brand. By the way, I'm XO Xuded. I've gotten over 2 million streams on my original music, and for over 2 years, I've maintained at least 5,000 monthly Spotify listeners without any paid promotion. Now let's go through my 3-step framework that gives you a brand that keeps fans coming back. So step 1 is actually pretty easy. Hopefully you're already doing it. It is your music. Now, there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can showcase your music, and what we're going to use right now is going to be a framework that I came up with to spread out your music. I'm not going to go in too much detail with it. You can check out episode 10 if you'd like to find out more about it, but this is the multiply my music framework, where you take one song and again you spread it out as much as you can. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so you got one song, and right now a lot of these are going to be on YouTube because obviously that's where you're going to be able to put a whole bunch of long form videos. So you have your official audio that you can put out maybe the day of release. If you have an explicit version of it, you can put out the clean version of it. So official audio, clean version. Next, we're going to go to the different versions that we have, and that would be like sped up, slow. Maybe you have an acoustic version to your song. Again, I go more in depth in this in episode 10, but just to kind of get through the first step of your branding, this is where you're just showcasing your music. You want to show that you're an artist. You don't want to just lean so much into everything else that people forget that you even make music. So you'll also be doing stuff like lyric videos, maybe a visualizer, and these will actually be visualizers. Again, I went in more depth, but basically anything that is put plural like this in this framework, basically my mindset with this is, why do you have to limit your visualizer to one? Why can't you have multiple themes? If you have one song, we're creatives, we should be able to think of multiple ways to, let's say, implement one song to multiple stories. So from there, we have live, performances. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. So again, this you can do in multiple different locations. Why do a live performance just in one location when you can do them in multiple? Especially if it's a song that people are already liking, you feel me? So from there you could also do like a karaoke video. I haven't done one of those, but they seem fun. Lyric breakdown, and then last but not least, we have music video. That one's plural too. Why not, right? Again, it's the same concept with visualizers. Why not come up with multiple stories to the same song, especially if it's one that's popular? So we have the audio, clean, sped up, slow, acoustic, lyric video, visualizers, lyric performances, karaoke, lyric breakdown, and music videos. Now these are all ways mainly on YouTube. Of course you can put up like different versions like clean and sped up and slow on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. But most of these can be like YouTube videos. But the one thing that will be able to go on multiple platforms, I guess this is really last but not least, short videos. Whether you want to call them shorts on YouTube, TikToks, Reels, whatever the fuck. Literally, basically every single platform is integrating these vertical short form videos. You already know what I'm talking about. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're aware of the world and how it works. So yeah, there is short form videos that you can put out for your music as well. This right here is step 1. Super simple. It's not supposed to be some complex thing. There is so much more to branding, and this is not where you can stop. So the next step, and probably the most important step, is going to be you / your beliefs. You / your beliefs. So it's not just who you are. It's not just like, your personality and shit like that. It's the things that you actually believe in, the things that you think about, the things that you're passionate about talking about. And let's go ahead and break down how we would showcase that as well. So with this, we can just actually, let's break it down like that, right? We could break it down into 3 different categories. We got written, and we got pictures, and we got videos. Okay. So we got words, we got pictures, we got videos. These are different ways that you can showcase or highlight you and your personality, you and your beliefs, you and your thoughts. So for written, what do we have? We have stuff like tweets or X, I guess, whatever X's. I'm not sure how they want to be now, but we got like threads. And these are 2 ways where you can just like mass produce multiple pieces of content. You don't have to do all of them. Do I encourage you to do all of them? Of course I do. But if you are not the type of person that wants to be on video, but you are really good at writing, of course, you're an artist, so you probably are good at writing, unless you have like a ghostwriter or something. But either way, if you are the type that can express yourself in written form very well, then doing some tweets, doing some threads, that's a good place to start. Of course, you can also do screenshots of both of those, and you can post those on your Instagram, whatever platform that you want to do. You can even go to YouTube and post it in your community post. So you can take these same pieces of content and kind of use like how we did in step 1 with the Multiply My Music framework, and just try to spread it out as much as possible. Like work smarter, not harder. So we have tweets, we have threads, we have screenshots of the above. But another one that I thought of is email. A lot of people, when I talk to them about email, a lot of artists, when I talk to them about email, and myself included, I felt the same way, like I was agreeing with them. It's kind of like, what do you say with email? Like, what do you tell people? Am I supposed to just be like, hey, got a new song, hey, got a new show? You feel like you're just somebody that belongs in the spam folder, in the promotion folder or whatever. Like, nah, like you don't want to do that. So for the longest, for years, and I'm still not doing it, it's like I know email is what you're supposed to do. Like TikTok almost got banned, came back for a fucking second, and that kind of just shows you that a platform can come and go. A platform not only can actually get banned, but what if it just stops becoming popular? So you don't want to depend on anything too much. Again, this is the shit that we hear, right? It's the you should do. Again, I don't have an email list still. But when I thought about the branding aspect of it, that's when I'm like, email actually might be able to work. I might be able to have something to say, because if I'm looking at it the same way I'm looking at tweets and threads, and it's kind of just like, maybe not daily, maybe a weekly, whatever cadence that you want to have, you can kind of just put your thoughts and ideas out there. It doesn't have to be like some promotional thing. It doesn't have to be some book. It can be literally as long as a tweet, something that somebody can read within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and just kind of like look at it and see the gist of it. This will show a lot of who you are. The things that you say, the words that you consistently convey to people, of course, that's going to shed light on your personality. But they do say pictures are worth 1,000 words. So, of course, you can just put pictures. I don't have anything else with that. Of course, you got screenshots. That's technically a picture, right? But with pictures, I just mean pictures. Like smile, cheese, or don't, whatever. Be candid. Just get pictures of you and put them out. When you're out with friends, take pictures of all of you. Show the people that you're around. And in the last episode, I went deep on how all of this affects how people look at you, how people perceive you when they see how you're dressed, the people that you're around, the shit that you like to say is just a part of it. All of the aspects that you can see in the picture, you want to kind of let that show as well. So take general pictures when you're doing shows. Take pictures of that, but it doesn't have to be music related. Again, you could just be kicking it with your friends. You could just, if you have a dog that you really like, don't go too crazy and end up just having dog picture, but show your life through pictures. And again, you might not be one of those people who might be like, bro, the camera just breaks whenever I try to take a picture of myself. It don't work. I mean, if it's that deep for you, don't do it. Stick to the written. This isn't one of those like, man, you're not doing pictures, you're not doing all three of these. What's wrong with you? You're messing up. I recommend it, but it's not something that's required. Somebody can just do one of these, two of these, or all three of these, and it'll still work for them. Now, one thing that I like to say, I'm gonna say is mine. I try to look it up. I couldn't find nobody else, so prove me wrong if I'm wrong. But I believe this is an official XO quote. If pictures are worth 1,000 words, then videos are worth 1,000 pictures. And that's something that I wholeheartedly agree with. Because every video, man, it's going to be something that shows so much more of who you are, so much more than the written words that we'll say, so much more than a picture could say. It's just like a clip, and it doesn't have to be long. It could be stuff that are clipped up and put into short form content like we were talking about earlier. But how are we going to do this? We could do things like podcasts. You can have your own podcast. Get your friends on there. Get other artists, whoever the fuck, your mama, your dad, I don't give a fuck. Get other people on here. It is the simplest, easiest way to just start showing who you are, is to just have conversations with people, real conversations. And I'm talking about sit down for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, show who you are and talk about the things that you like to talk about. This isn't something where you have direction. Like, the one recommendation I would have is try not to make it about music. Sprinkle in that you're obviously an artist. It will live on your artist channel. I'm not saying go make like another like YouTube channel for your podcast and shit like that. No, this all stays under your artist channel. But why use this whole new step to talk about the things that we had in the last step? We have a whole bunch of different ways that we can showcase our music. This doesn't need to be one of them. This is where you highlight yourself. People want to become fans of people. Yes, we love songs, but songs, we can become a fan of a song and not really give a fuck about the artist. But if you're a fan of the artist, you know what I mean? You end up liking the majority of their songs just because you're already a fan of them. So you can have your own podcast. Another way you could do is go live. Going live on any of the social platforms. This isn't one of those where I'm going to point at one. I like YouTube and Instagram as like a nice little combo, just because YouTube has all of the aspects where you can put out long form videos, but then Instagram has it where you can DM people and you could put clips out and just kind of reach people that aren't necessarily on YouTube naturally. You feel me? So that's just kind of my 2 cents. But at the end of the day, man, if you like TikTok, if you want to put all of the fucking different platforms like Gary Vee says, you know what I'm saying, you need to be on LinkedIn and Snap and all that shit. I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed, and I think if you stick with 2, YouTube for me is the one you should, you know what I mean, like the house that you kind of like lean on. Again, where you can put all the long form content, and then have some sort of platform where you can put short form content and DM somebody, because that'll be powerful. But going live will be a way where you can answer your fans' questions. You can schedule this. If you do have that email list that we talked about, you could tell them, like I go live once a month, once a week, whatever, or just I'm randomly going live, whatever. This is just, again, another way to show who you are. The last thing that I could think of for step 2 is the behind the scenes videos. So behind the scenes can be stuff for your music. And when I say, and this kind of it loops back in what I was just talking about. When I say sprinkle in your music, don't forget that you are a musician. Like I said earlier, you don't want to just focus so much on everything else that people are like, oh shit, you make music? That should never be the case. Like, you are an artist first. You feel me? Like if you're on YouTube, you should have that music note next to your fucking name. And like you're an artist. When you go to Instagram, your fucking professional dashboard should say artist or musician, whatever you fucking want to go by. But people should know that you make music. So how do you do that? Of course, some of your pictures can be you in the studio. Some of your videos can be you behind the scenes at a show or fucking recording a song or whatever the fuck. You are supposed to showcase your personality right here, but you still obviously can show that you're an artist. Let's give an example for the podcast. When you're doing a podcast, you're having a conversation, you can be having a natural conversation, and when something, again, naturally comes up, when I was just recording the other day, and whatever, I'm just kind of making shit up right now, so I don't want to just like pull shit out of my ass, but you just kind of naturally bring up in your day-to-day life, just as you would if there was no cameras. You know what I mean? Like you could be talking to your homeboy and you just might be like, yeah man, I was just working on this song, whatever the fuck, however it comes up naturally, it's going to come up. Man, I'm excited for this new release, some shit. Just don't make it seem weird. Don't make it seem like you're sitting here trying to plug your shit constantly. It's going to happen naturally if you let it happen naturally. And anytime where your music isn't mentioned, it's okay, because that just gives people a chance to fall in love with you. Last but not least, we do have step 3 of the simplified approach to artist branding. And that is going to be, I should have just kept the your, because it's your interests. And it's really like what you do, but I kind of wanted, again, to stick with the your aspect and maybe smile. Just kind of your beliefs, your interests, your music. I don't know. It's kind of like alliteration, right? But this, your interests, what does this mean? Like I said, it's more like, what do you do? And if you couldn't have guessed it from the last one, I do mean, what do you do outside of music? Yes, we get it. You make music. We know. That's why you do behind the scenes, and you have all of your different fucking shorts, and you have your different versions of your song. You have all of that out. This is covered. This is assuming that it's covered. What do you do besides that? And this was my mistake. This was, again, where I just relied completely on my music, where I showed a little bit of my personality, maybe with like captions and tweets and stuff like that. So I put out the written word and shit like that. But for the most part, I didn't really have behind the scenes. I didn't really have any podcasts or anything that showed who I was as a person. I just relied on my music. And this was the big epiphany that I had, that I wish I would have known a lot sooner, where you can either talk about your interests now or your interests in the future. Because for me, when I was struggling with this, my big thing was, but what if you don't do anything else? What if everything else you do is like really boring, super mundane? You feel me? Like all I do is all the music shit and the social media shit, and I'm like looking up shit, and it's like really boring, like same thing, 14 hours a day. And when I do decompress, all I'm doing is like watching some TV and chilling with my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like kicking with my girl. Like I don't know. Like are these things that this is what I'm supposed to be showcasing? No, that's not right. Like I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be like the Family Guy rapper, of course. You know what I'm saying? I got it. Why does it have to be what I'm doing now? What about the shit that I want to do? And then that's when it really hit me that there are things that I want to in the future. When I had a dream of being a successful music artist, and I kind of saw past that, what I always saw personally was being in movies, acting, maybe even creating my own movies. So, listing out things you like to do now. Maybe you like to do skateboarding. Maybe you like to, I don't know, fucking swim. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you're like super into working out and nutrition, and that's what you'd like to talk about. Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like something active that you go do, but something where it's almost where you could look it up. This is actually a good like guideline for it. If you could look it up on YouTube and find a YouTuber that is already, they have a whole personal brand about the other thing that you do. Meaning I could go find a skateboard channel. I could go find an actor that has their own personal brand channel that's putting out monologues or whatever the fuck, maybe putting out their own short films, whatever direction, like I would like to go with that. You feel me? You want to kind of start there, because one, it shows that there are enough people that are interested in it. Two, who really gives a fuck, right? If you're interested in it, that's what's going to make people interested in it. But three, since there are people already interested in it, you're going to put it out there anyways. It shows that it's something completely different that people are interested in by itself. Like it's not like, oh, that's cool because he's an artist or she's a musician or whatever. Like it's like, wow, that's cool. And they happen to also be a really good musician. You know what I mean? Like you make my favorite song and you do this other thing that's cool. And this is where you can start listing out things in the future and see if any of them correlate. The simplest way to build a brand is to be the brand. You can't be scared to show people exactly who you are.